Welcome back, everyone. The Halloween Haunts 365. As you can see, I'm alone. She ditched me. Nope, she's off conquering the world with her new job, and she just couldn't make this one. But that's all right, because we have a guest. We have Cecily, also known as the Banshee from Penhurst Asylum. How are you tonight?
I am doing fantastic.
Awesome. Very cool. Like I said, low energy. Just going to talk about a bunch of dumb stuff and have fun.
I'm here for it.
All right. All right. We'll start off easy. Where are you from?
I'm from Maryland, actually, which is funny because I've done one haunt in Maryland, but the majority of my career has been in Pennsylvania.
What haunt in Maryland? We'll stay right there.
I did Bennett's Curse for one season during the COVID pandemic, and then I
Mhm.
left because of the pandemic and like things related to that.
Yeah, that really screwed the whole industry up.
Oh yeah,
Thank God
unfortunately.
that's over.
Thank God. Oh my gosh.
So you're from Maryland and you didn't hit Markovs?
No, I didn't, unfortunately. So a lot of my family is like very like scared. So it's hard to find people who like know haunts in Maryland for me, unfortunately.
I
So
gotcha.
most of my people are mostly in PA.
Very cool. So when did the Halloween bug bite you?
Oh my God. So it's actually a story. And it starts when I was 2 years old. Because I hated Halloween for so long. So when I was 2 years old, my mother was really, really pregnant with my younger sister at the time. And she decided to take me and my older sister to Disneyland to kind of like give me like that last like child kind of thing. And so while we were there, my mother was in a wheelchair and she had to go back to the hotel because she was unable to kind of like do everything. So I was with my father and my little sister, and I was asleep, or my older sister, and I was asleep. And my older sister wanted to go into the Haunted Mansion. And my father thought it would be okay to take me in. It's like a slower ride. It was not. I woke up in the middle of the Haunted Mansion and it did not go well. And from then till the age of 15, I was horrified of Halloween, but I was also simultaneously obsessed with it and like trying to dissect it. So I would like go onto like websites like Google haunted houses and like look at the behind the scenes kind of stuff. And like I became really, really like intrigued by that. But I couldn't like go into Home Depot during like the Halloween season because I was terrified of like animatronics and things like that. It was extreme. Like my anxiety was so extreme with it. So when I was 15, I decided, hey, I'm a teenager. Like this is kind of lame. I want to figure out how to like kind of wean my way into it. So I started by actually watching the old Goosebumps series, the one with like the creepy dog eyes and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, because I was like too scared to touch that kind of stuff. And I slowly started weaning my way up. I think I watched Chucky after that, and one of my friends came up to me because it was like September, October at that point, and was like, "Hey, do you want to go to this haunted house? It's called Field of Screams. It's in PA. They can touch you." And I was like, "Absolutely not. I will not be doing that." Needless to say, they got me to go. I do not know how, but I went. I did two attractions. I did the Hayride and the Den of Darkness, and I had bought a ticket for four, but I got so scared after the Den of Darkness that I almost puked and had to stop. And then I think it was Crunk actually who I talked to. He probably doesn't remember that though. After like the night, and I was kind of like, "How do you like do this?" And like we had a conversation about it. And then that year, on my 16th birthday, literally on the day of my 16th birthday, I signed up to work in haunted houses.
Very awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. So that answers our next question is when did you start haunting?
Oh
So
yeah, no, 16.
how long have you been haunting now? And
Oh
what
my
season are you
God.
going into? Do you know?
I think this is going to be my seventh season, eighth year in the horror community. So it's been like a while, like, because I'm 22 now.
Okay.
Um, but I started like in my teens. I worked at Field of Screams for like 3 to 4 years, did 1 year at Bennett's Curse. And then from there, I was in California for college for about 2 years. And there are no haunted houses in San Francisco that are like,
No, San
yeah,
Francisco's a weird spot for it.
I know.
California's a huge home haunt base. Like
Hmm.
they even have a huge home haunt convention there.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Like it's mainly LA area for the pro haunts or
Yeah.
Ocean County even, but up there, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, and I was someone who like commuted to my haunts as well because I like can't drive and I couldn't drive at the time. So it was like finding ways for me to like get to and from like Field of Screams or Bennett's Curse, which was typically like an hour away from me, and like still simultaneously did it. It wasn't that I wasn't used to that, but like there were none in the area. So I had to take a small break during those 2 years. And then I withdrew from my school and transferred because like this is the industry I want to get into as an adult. And I started at Penhurst this year, which I love. I adore it so much.
So you did the last season at Penhurst?
Yes,
Okay.
I did.
Yeah, we did not make it last year, but the year before, right after all the changes, and I always enjoyed Penhurst, don't get me wrong, but the changes they pulled really, because I think we took like a 5 year hiatus. Not because it's a bad haunt, but it's really hard to get in there. I
Yeah.
mean, the lines are crazy and it's like it's kind of hard to find and so we were just exploring, but I was like, we have to go back to Penhurst. And I'm glad I did because it was amazing.
Yeah, I have in my entire career, I've never seen anything like it. I feel like I could go on and on about like anyone who knows me knows how much I love Penhurst. It's like I feel very safe there. I feel very loved by management there. I feel like I'm able to like really be able to like do crazy things and they let me get away with it. I was quite a problem child last season. Um, but I like absolutely like I can't like say enough amazing things about the management there. I love it so much.
That's really cool.
Mhm.
All right, so that's pretty much the backstory of your career of haunting. We did
Yeah.
that. Um, what do you do outside of haunting, like a job, hobbies, anything like that?
So, I actually for a while ran a student council. I facilitated one for my major. So I'm a theater person. I grew up doing like musicals. I grew up doing like choirs, a lot of like that kind of stuff. When I was 13, I actually was able to tour most of Europe with Peabody for a while. And then when I was 16, actually the month right before I started Field of Screams, I did a month-long program at Yale School of Drama. Um,
Wow,
yeah, it was really fun. And like, so I've been doing like theater things and like arts things for like majority of my life in general. So this kind of lines up with that.
that's badass.
Yeah, I love it so much.
So I saw some pictures of your Instagram. Were you into photography at all, or?
My father is, so
Oh,
I enjoy making sure that like I really like art in general. So I'm someone who really it's kind of hard to explain. I really value intelligence and I really value like creativity. So if I have like a certain thing that I'm really drawn to, I want to incorporate it into my own art. So I do try to take as many like photos as possible. I try to like read as many books as possible, like all that kind of stuff. So I am into photography. I like to take a little bit of everything.
I gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah. After I started this and meeting all the people I met, there's just so much talent out there that's just ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Like I love going through Instagram because I have so many photographers and haunt photographers and just the pictures I get to see are amazing.
It's
So,
spectacular. I feel like this industry is so like there's so many different people you can meet in haunting. And like I think that's one of my favorite things about haunting in general. Like the amount of people you meet and how talented they are. Because it's like I've met makeup artists, like contortionists, people who like there's a girl who hula hoops with a hula hoop on fire at Penhurst, and it's
hmm
like it's insane. And like they're incredible vocalists, incredible actors. Like it's so cool to see all like the arts related things, and like I love it so much.
that's that's why I keep coming back year after year. The talented
Yeah.
individuals. All right, we'll take a quick break from the haunts. Are you a fan of horror? And do you have a favorite horror movie?
I actually have a photo of my
Ah,
phone right
that'll do.
above me. So I am a huge fan of The Shining. I think I watched it like, and this is gonna sound insane, about like 100 times this Halloween season. I like to watch it on repeat because I love noticing all like the little details in there. which kind of like is which kind of ties into like the whole haunted house thing because of sets and all of that. I love The Shining. I love Hereditary as well. I'm a huge A24 kind of buff with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, A24 is interesting.
No,
Um, they did the Maxine series, right? First, it
yes,
was I
it was
forget the
X,
X.
which
Yeah,
I actually just watched that for the first time at like a friend's house literally last week, and it was so interesting to see.
it was a good movie. I liked X.
Yeah.
The second one in that trilogy was hit or miss. It was really slow for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, they do hit some bombs sometimes.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think Hereditary was one of the things that like really inspired me with like haunt acting and all that because of how aggressive it was in a
You
lot
know,
of
I
ways.
still haven't seen Hereditary yet. I need to sit down and watch it. I know.
You do. I
If you
can tell,
can't tell behind me, I'm stuck in the 80s. I can't get out of the 80s, 90s horror. I just can't.
which is understandable. I mean, 80s, 90s horror is like absolutely iconic, so I can't blame you for that.
I mean, and then Jordan Peele's Nope really just,
Hmm.
ugh. I can't do it.
Understandable, understandable. I feel like in general, I wanted more gore in that.
I wanted something. Like, even the alien wasn't scary. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
I agree with you. And I saw that with a few friends, and they were like, "Oh, it was so scary." And I was like,
I could have watched a dude ride a horse on a farm a couple minutes from here. I mean, like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
exactly. I think he like hit the nail on the head with like Get Out and Us, but Nope was just like it was underwhelming for me.
Get Out was a cool story. A lot of
Mhm.
people hate it, but I like Get Out. I thought that actor killed it. He was
Mhm.
amazing.
Oh my gosh, his expressions, like his realism was like fantastic to watch. And I feel like watching movies like that, like where you have like horror actors who like do those kind of expressions are so important to like haunt acting in general
Hmm.
with like trying to figure out like character and all that.
Yeah, or you could just do the Paranormal Activity. You know, you take 8 grand and do a found film,
Mhm.
and it becomes this whole franchise. Like, I liked all of the Paranormal Activities.
I haven't seen them yet,
Oh,
unfortunately.
you got to watch that first one.
No, I'm familiar with found footage because of Blair Witch, because that one's another one that I'm
Yep,
very
yep.
interested in. But Paranormal Activity is the one that I haven't seen,
It's
which is fun.
basically a wife getting tortured by a spirit that maybe she had in her childhood. They really don't go into it. They do in the later ones. And
Mhm.
then the husband just thinks it's a huge joke, so he's just recording everything, and then shit hits the fan.
I feel like it hits so differently working at a haunted location.
Oh, yeah, because
It's
Penhurst don't mess around with that.
I did not expect it at all working there at first. I did not expect like to be like that much around all of like the paranormal activity that occurs there, and it just stunned me when I first like got there. It was crazy.
What's the craziest thing you witnessed paranormal wise there?
Oh my God. So I actually do have a story for this.
Go for it.
Um, it was, I think it was, I want to say October 21st, I want to say. It was like mid-season. What happened was I was doing a stunt and I accidentally like really hurt my knee. And so I was like limping and they caught me because I was trying to sneak past so I could just go home. But they caught me. So they had to like boot me for the night. And my ride is at Penhurst. So I had to like stay there for the majority of the night. I was talking to the head makeup artist, Autumn, about something that was very serious. So I asked to get some privacy with her, and she took me downstairs in Limerick, I believe. And it was like a chained off area outside of the attractions, and it's like 11 p.m. The attractions are running. So this is like, there's no electricity down here, there's no one down there, like literally private. And so we're in the middle of this conversation, and there's this really dark room, like standing right over there, like staring at us. And there's this huge crashing noise that just happens in it. And I look at her and I was like, what was that? And she was like, oh, it's just a ghost. Don't worry, you can continue. And I was like, I didn't I didn't know how to respond. And I was like, okay. And so I try to continue. My life is being changed right before my eyes. And then like I'm stuttering. I'm like disassociating. I'm not even sure what to do. And then I feel something grip my shoulder. And like it was like the air had flexed around my shoulder. It was such a strange, strange feeling. And then I felt the same thing on my foot, which
Hmm.
was interesting because my knee was the thing that was injured. And I was like, holy shit. Because I mean, I've worked around this kind of stuff for a long time. I have been around like the haunted houses. I been there, done that. I'm very desensitized to these kind of things. Never have I ever had something like this happen before. And so we finished the conversation. I try to wrap it up within like 2 minutes after that happens because I'm terrified at this point. And we go back to the stairs that we had like come down from to like have this conversation. And there's a toy just sitting on the stairs, like this rubber chicken sitting on the stairs that was not there originally. And I was so flabbergasted by this that I literally like didn't know what to do for like the next 2 weeks and like was just constantly thinking about it, talking about it. And I ended up signing up to be one of the paranormal investigators there, which I'm going to be doing in probably March starting.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for that. But it was insane. It was absolutely insane. And then I got lucky enough to like shadow a ghost tour, I think about a month after that, where I really got to like actually talk to like some of the energies that exist there. Because they encourage us to be like skeptical on like what we find in general. It's hard to be skeptical in these kind of environments though. Um, and there was this one encounter and it happened at 111 in the morning, I think. And it was actually in the attraction that I worked in. It was in the tunnels, in the Rockwell tunnels, in the room that I had acted in for the majority of the season. And it was about four of us. It was just me, the other ghost horror person who was shadowing, and two of the group members who were like left over. And we communicated with this spirit who called himself Homer, and he was engaging with us really, really well through the spirit box. And then the spirit box turned off, and something started pacing at the end of the hallway. And we were all just like standing there staring into this dark hallway with like nothing but a red light from the exit sign like illuminating it. It was something out of a horror film. And like there was something over there. There was something over there.
That's
It was
crazy.
crazy. It was so insane.
That is awesome.
hmm
Ah, I didn't think you'd reach that just being a haunt actor,
I
huh?
I listen, like I was skeptical coming in at first because I like didn't really know what to expect with it. Because obviously you hear like Penhurst is haunted, and I had been hearing that my entire haunting career. Like from the time that I like started, like I would hear whispers of like people saying, "Oh yeah, like this place is haunted. Like people are saying that this is haunted, like blah blah blah." And like I was just kind of like, "Yeah, is it though?" Like like is it like and it is. It like really is. It's crazy, but it's also like it's spectacular to witness. It's honestly so special and interesting to witness.
That's wild.
hmm
Wow.
Yeah, you don't get that from the acting side that often.
Nah, you don't get that from many different attractions either. So,
You don't. You do not, unless like Eastern State. I've heard that there's like some hauntings there, but Penhurst, like, there's something different about it. There's really something different about it.
you feel it as soon as you hit the grounds. You really do. I
hmm
really like how they have it set up with the parking this year, where you have to actually walk the walkway to get to the attraction, so you can like
hmm
see everything, and I really like that.
And the architecture of the buildings are really beautiful too.
Beautiful.
I love it. I think it's like really interesting to see the way it's like being preserved, like that kind of thing. And like I agree with you, like you can feel it when you're on property. Like I call it the pre-Penhurst jitters, but like I get this like pre-anxiety whenever I go there. And then as soon as I get on property, like I cross the bridge to be on property, it goes away.
Yeah,
Like immediately. And
yeah.
it's so interesting.
I've actually fought for Penhurst in a ton of discussions because I get it. People are like, bad things happen here. Why are we celebrating it? You're not celebrating it. You're
No, we're not.
remembering it. And if Penhurst Asylum didn't buy this property, I guarantee you it would be condos. It'd be
Yeah.
all tore down, and there'd be a whole shopping plaza or some bullshit there.
Mhm.
So be happy that they bought it.
Yeah. I'm not a spokesperson for it, so I can't like speak for the business itself, but I will say like I do appreciate a lot of the work they do for like the disability community in general. Like I
Hmm.
think it's very important, especially like doing work on the property.
Yeah, the fact that the buildings haven't fallen in on themselves just tells you
Yeah.
how much work they've done on these
Yeah.
buildings.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I did a whole special on it about a year ago, the whole history of Penhurst. I don't really remember when it was built, but it was a long time ago.
Mhm.
And to actually be able to put a haunted attraction in there probably took a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And to
it's made
actually
it
let people through these, close to
Mhm.
condemned buildings, they put tons of work into that place.
Yeah, and it like makes it all the more like interesting. It makes it so special. I mean, like I like listen, I love haunted attractions in general, but like there's something so terrifying but beautiful about Penhurst.
Walking right through that main door.
Yeah, it's intense. Like you can feel it. Like it's there's the intensity there is so interesting.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mm.
you could pay millions and not have the facade that Penhurst does.
I know. Yeah.
They don't have to do shit for the outside. It looks beautiful to begin
Yeah,
with.
they really don't. They really don't.
But
Only they do in Pumpkinland, which is absolutely I love Pumpkinland. I really do.
I didn't see it yet. They didn't have it the year I was there because it's at the end, right? It's by the
Yeah,
midway. Yeah,
it's so cute. I love it so much. It's like it's at the end of Midway, so yeah, it
right.
is where like people like exit, and like it's a great place to take photos too,
Cool.
which I
Yeah,
feel
they
like
must have did that right last year because
Mhm.
when I went, they had the midway, which used to be just tents in the middle of the courtyard, and you could get like I think you could get like a hot dog or something. But now it's like you're walking on the boardwalk.
Yeah, no, I did some work in event staff, so I did a few different nights where I would do merch, and I would go over and get that street corn there. They've got really
Hmm.
good street corn there, and it's so good. I
Yeah.
love it so much. But I really like that there's a lot of like opportunities in their midway to like interact with different things too, like in general. I feel like something that I was kind of missing at like a few different ones was like a place to take photos
Hmm.
and that kind of thing. And Pumpkinland is like fantastic for taking photos in. Like there's so many like really, really cool haunted animatronics there. It's great. I love it so much.
And that's a conversation I've had with a few haunt owners is people live and die on Instagram. If you want
Hmm.
to show your place off, have them somewhere for them to take pictures.
Yeah.
301 Devil's Playground added a whole, it's part of their midway now, but there's like 7 photo ops and then the food. And, their name's in the middle of it. Like, that's what you need to do. That's how people are like, where are you? And then the person tells them.
Yeah, no, I personally love Instagram, big fan of it. And Penhurst, like you cannot take photos in the building. Like it is a huge rule that you
Hmm.
cannot post photos, you can't do anything in like the actual attraction, which like it's disappointing because like you go in, you see those sets and they're oh my God, it's incredible. It's like walking through a video game. I like keep telling my parents like it's like going to Disneyland, but it's a haunted house. It's like, oh my God, I wish I could talk about the sets more, but like it's just spectacular to see. And so it makes me so disappointed that I can't take photos of it. But
Yes.
Pumpkinland is my compensation for that because it is like spectacular, but like you can take photos in it.
I'll tell you my favorite scene when we stop recording.
Absolutely.
Because
I'd love to
I don't like giving anything away.
hear.
When
Mhm.
I do you've seen our reviews. I do 3 scenes that I say were my favorite. I don't even
Yeah.
go into detail. I'll be like, hey, the pirate wheel. Nobody
Mhm.
knows what the hell I'm talking about
You don't know
until
until
you
it's
actually go and say, like, oh, that's what he meant. So, like,
Mhm.
that's why I do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and there are a lot of haunts, I feel like, I've seen an epidemic of this where there are people that'll live stream, specifically Halloween Horror Nights. I see that a lot.
I'm completely fine with them doing horror nights because it
Mhm.
changes every year. I
Mhm.
don't want them doing field. I don't want them doing, places that can't change their entire attraction every year.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like it's cool, it gives, and if they're a huge YouTuber, it gives them more people, but it just ruins it.
It does, and I feel like that's, like, a really so one of the things I really love about haunting in general, like haunted houses specifically, is the fact that I feel like there is no other form of theater or media or like storytelling that's able to create real stories and harness real emotions the way that haunted houses are able to do. And so when you go in there not knowing anything, you get to really have an actual adventure there. And like crazy things can happen. Like you never know who you're going to encounter or like how the experience is going to go. It could either be really, really funny, it could be like sad, it could be like happy, it could be literally terrifying. And like it's just, I feel like I agree with like Halloween Horror Nights on that one specifically, but like with regular like haunted attractions, like it spoils so
I know.
much fun.
I know. I won't watch them.
Hmm.
Um, I watch here and there to see if like the sets are something that I would travel for, but then I
Hmm.
just turn it off. Like I don't want to know anything. Like I know Creepy World in St. Louis, his hayride has mock-ups of all the favorite houses, like the Nightmare House, the Amityville House, Jason's Hut, Springwood School, like
Oh, you know,
Nightmare.
I think I have seen a video of that place.
And I watched it just to see like the size of one of them, and then I turned it off because I want to go.
Yeah, yeah, but like that's the truth. I feel like you get like such a better experience when you don't know
Don't
exactly
over
what's going
research.
on. Yeah, yeah. And I feel like that's like kind of the issue with like today and like technology and like you can just usually Google things and like
Uh-huh.
kind of see what's going on. And that's one of the cool things with Penhurst because you can't Google it and find out what's
No,
going
they don't let, and that's good. I'm glad they
on.
do it. It
Mhm.
they keep it real tight wraps up in there.
Yeah, I remember like when I was first getting into it, I did try to do a little Googling to see what was like gonna be the deal with like the sets, and I couldn't find anything that wasn't promotional. Like anything. I think there was one video from like 7 years ago that I found, but that was it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's all the outside. Every time you
Mhm.
Google, you just see videos from the outside, and that's what I record. I record the midways and the outside of attractions.
Mhm.
I've never, even when they asked me to do it, I haven't done it. We did a behind the scenes at Reapers,
Mhm.
and I did the clown room, but I sped it up to like 700 frames a second, so it's like you don't really see anything.
Mhm. I've been dying to go to Reaper's Revenge. I haven't been yet, and I know how good it is, and
Yeah,
I want to go so badly.
yeah,
Um,
you gotta get up there.
I keep hearing rumors about like the hayride and getting to go off of it, and I'm like it
I'm
excites me
not
so.
telling you anything.
I
All I
know
can tell you is they're opening a whole nother attraction this season.
that is so exciting.
It's a house. If I can find pictures, I'll send them to you.
Yeah, please do. I like haven't. So one of the things about working in haunted houses is you, as an actor, I can never really go to haunted
I
houses.
know.
So like, it's so painful. Like it's so painful. And Reapers has been one of those places that I've wanted to go for so long.
I've been asked to like guest act or hey, do a show where we make you up and you go to. I'm like, I'm not doing that because I want to go to the next haunt.
Yeah, that's literally it. One of the downsides of like working at Penhurst is you don't get to go through Penhurst. Like I'll be at Penhurst all the time, but like there are like full attractions that I just haven't seen. Like the catacombs, which was open this year, I didn't see any of the catacombs at all.
Right.
Um, and like I think I only saw a small portion of the morgue, which I acted in, but like they keep it under wraps. Like we don't even like see it all the time.
That's funny.
It is funny.
That's hilarious. Speaking of Penhurst, Penhurst is opening for a Valentine's Day special this year.
Yes, it
First
is.
season Penhurst is doing it. Shout out to Penhurst. Are you looking forward to it?
I am so excited for it. I was literally just with some actors last night talking about it. So I'm actually singing in it. So I'm
Oh,
not even gonna
cool.
get spooky this time. But like I am playing a character, which is gonna be fun. But I'm gonna be in our speakeasy, which is gonna be a fully functioning bar in Devon. And I'm so excited. I'm overwhelmingly excited. It's been so cute. We had like a little activity where like we got together as like a group of actors and like we all made like little Valentine's crafts to go and decorate like the asylum in. And it was, oh, I'm so overwhelmingly excited.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was happy to read it, and like I won't say this on air, but you know what happened with us. But
Mhm.
I was coming to Penhurst.
Yeah.
But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. But I was
Mhm.
happy to read that they were doing it. The more haunts they can open during the off season, just it raises awareness. It's gonna make your October busier.
Yeah, and I personally love off-season events because back when I started in like 2017, it was the only time I could really go and like get to see these things. So I actually did a guest spot at Brighton Asylum a few times.
Love Brighton Asylum.
I love them. I love them so much. I like worked, I
Rich
think,
was actually probably my favorite interview of all time.
really.
We went pretty deep into the history of that.
Brighton is like fantastic. They were so kind to me when we went, and it was a group of my friends who like went up and we acted for their Valentine's Day event. I think we did it. I think we acted once, but I think I went 3 times in total.
Yeah.
But I adore it. I like will go up there if I can make a trip. I was planning on going in December, but I wasn't able to get up there, unfortunately.
You may want to check out. I don't know if he's. I don't know what he's doing next. I gotta look it up because I know he wanted to close early to build stuff, but he put a whole new scene in the asylum. He's
I want
nuts.
to
He's
wait.
absolutely nuts.
I'm sure. I mean, like you see, it's been so long since I've been able to go to haunted attractions, especially because I've been in California for like a bit.
Yeah.
So I'm foaming at the mouth to go to some haunted attractions at this point.
All right. Getting back to Penhurst,
Mhm.
what are your goals for the upcoming 2024 season?
Oh man, oh, cause trouble. I outdid myself last season with the amount of trouble I caused. So unfortunately, last season I was having a little bit of health issues. There was an invisible illness that I had that I was like working with. So I would get in trouble sometimes because I would go too hard. And then I would get myself very injured. Um, but oh God, some goals in general. I want to get creative with my scares. So I don't look intense. I'm aware that I don't look intense. So I tend to overcompensate with my intensity. So I'm looking for more ways to get intense with guests. I think like more personal experiences. Something I typically do is I target men a lot with my scares, like especially men who don't want to be scared or like are pretending to not be scared. So I work with timing a lot to make sure that they know that I'm not or like think that I'm not there in general. So I think working with timing and like trying to get more intense scares is going to be something that I'm like working with a little more. Maybe more work with props as well.
Props are handy.
Yeah.
So you play the Banshee at Penhurst. What attraction are you in?
I'm in the tunnels usually, which I can't curse. I love, I adore it so much.
You curse all you want. This is a adult only channel. Trust me.
I fucking love the
There you
tunnels.
go.
I did some work in the asylum as well, but the tunnels is mostly where I am.
That asylum.
It's amazing. The sets in there are fantastic. I had a mattress fall on me this season. I love it so much.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's good.
Uh, do you have a backstory for the Banshee?
So she's kind of interesting. I feel like she's an extension of me in general. So I decided to look into my own heritage for like ideas for it. So Irish folklore, because my family is Irish. So I really like the idea of banshees being an evil spirit that like calls or like the scream in general is something that warns people of a bad omen or death or the incoming thing. And I have a very loud scream that sounds like a banshee. So that's mostly where it came from at first. I'm hoping to develop it more as time goes on. But in general, it's more, she's kind of an embodiment of everything I shouldn't be
Hmm.
in general. So she's embodiment of messiness, anger, aggression, and just like there's like a weird thing that like seemingly comes over me before like it I scare act in general. I feel like that's like a common thing with scare actors. Like you sound crazy saying it like when you're like not a scare actor, but like I'm sure you've heard that before. It's she's a time to just be angry, I think. So like I feel like she's more an extension of me rather than she's in a character. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you.
Mhm.
It's the therapy dog.
Oh, yeah. And haunt acting is like, I feel like people don't like, well, actors talked about it a lot because like I feel like everyone does use haunt acting as a form of like therapy in a way, like to like be something that you're not for a
Hmm.
second. I've seen that used a lot, and it's really fun. Like, I don't think that's the only reason to haunt act, but like in my personal opinion, like it is totally like really rooted in me to be able to be like this horrible, terrible, like almost character personification of myself that doesn't actually exist in real life.
Pretty awesome.
I love it.
So, oh, I gotta do this real quick because I hate people who don't give photo cred. The photo of our background, which you can't see till the recording comes out, is from Rogues Hollow.
Oh, Rose Hollow,
Yeah,
perfect.
I love Rogues Hollow. I've gotta have him on. I really gotta just. I'm so busy with work, and my work causes me to travel all over the country. So I
Hmm.
have to be here to do this. So it's
Yeah,
hard scheduling because other than Saturday and Sunday, I have no fucking idea when I'm home.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Like, I get that.
So I'm trying to I'm trying to get Alan Hobbs, who's done amazing things in this industry, Leonard
Mhm.
Pickle, the guy from Rogues Hollow.
Yeah.
I did have Chad Savage from Sinister Visions on. He does a lot of the logos now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm aiming for here.
There's so many spectacular people in this industry. It's like, it's so overwhelming. I love it so much.
So what is your favorite thing about Penhurst?
Oh my God. Oh God. Put me on the spot. Oh, that is a good question. I feel like there's so many different things. I'm going to start with the management because I owe so much to those people. They are so kind, they are so supportive, and they really genuinely like want to make sure that you're okay, which I appreciate so much, especially because like the work we do at Penhurst is very physically tolling. It's very like intense, and like it's also like you're working with a lot of dark subject matter very often, and like it they are so good with that. Like, love the management. The sets as well are just, oh my God, they're spectacular. I wish I could like actually like properly like explain them on here because I would if I could, but it's just like the amount of fantasy and like creativity that go into these sets are like it's so unique too because it's not necessarily just like gore. There's like a real story that you can follow when you go into Penhurst, and there are like characters attached to that story, and it's just like it ties in as if you're walking into a storybook in a way, and I think that is so unique and special, and I love it so much.
I like that.
Mhm.
So, do you have any big plans in the haunted attraction industry?
In general, that's a good question. I would really, I'd love to get into the management or like design side of like the haunted house industry in general, because I really want to go into this industry as a career. Obviously, I'm 22, so I'm still figuring things out, but like that is my goal eventually to like,
I'm 42. I'm still figuring shit out, so don't worry about it.
yeah. So yeah, but that is my goal. I'm going to school right now for business and theatrical production to like try and like get my own footing with like haunted attractions and all that because I think it is such an underrated method of storytelling. And there is so much promise and opportunity in this community. And like, it's so cool to do. Like, I love it so much. So I really want to like, I'd love to honestly work with like interactive haunted houses, like that kind of thing, and like look for interactivity more with like customers and things like that. I like there's so many different things I want to do with it, honestly, but I definitely want to make this into like an actual career that I can like sustain myself with.
Yeah, I mean, that's be awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
It would be fantastic. Are you heading to Trans World East Coast this year?
I think we're doing a thing with the East Coast Hunters where they're touring Penhurst, I
Okay,
believe.
yeah, yeah.
They just announced that. So I don't know if I'm going to Transworld itself, but I know I will be acting in the East Coast Hunters like tour of Penhurst.
The tour for the pre-show tour, yeah.
Yeah, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, a lot of them are really fun.
Hmm.
Um, do you have a favorite haunt to visit as a guest? Like, I know it's tough, but one spot that you always want to try and hit.
That is a tough question. Because the majority of spots I go to like have been like Brighton and those guys. I really like Brighton. I love Brighton. I will go to Halloween Horror Nights if I can. I've been a few times. I love it. I think it's really fun. It's not as intense as I want it to be, because I really do value like contact haunts specifically. Um, so I would say Halloween Horror Nights or Brighton. The majority of haunts, like I haven't been to a lot because I've just been acting a lot in this industry. And like because I was a kid who commuted up from Maryland to go to Pennsylvania with it,
Yeah.
it was hard to like go and like do haunted houses leisurely. But now I live in Pennsylvania, so hopefully I'm going to be able to like hit Reapers, Eastern State. I would love to do Haunted Hoochie. I would love to do Haunted Hoochie so much.
That's out by Pittsburgh, right?
I
I don't
don't know.
even know.
It's
I've never been.
I want to say it's like Michigan. I want to say that.
You know
It's
what?
some,
I have this magical thing called the internet,
yeah.
and everyone's yelling at me for not knowing where Haunted Hoochie is, so they can all
No, it's okay. It's okay.
kiss my butt. Haunted Hoochie. This is in. Oh, this looks like a fun time.
I know. It's crazy. It's
I've heard about
absolutely
it for years, and I just never got there. It is 13861 Broad Street, Southwest Pataskala, Ohio.
Ohio. Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of good ones are in Ohio.
Yeah, they Ohio might be the trip for me this year. Me and
Mm.
Terry tried to take it's right outside Columbus, Ohio. Okay. I've been trying to think because last year we went to New Orleans and
Mhm. Oh, that's a
found
good spot.
3 amazing haunts. We went to the mortuary, which takes place in an
Mm.
actual mortuary from like the 1800s.
Mhm.
New Orleans Nightmare, which is a 13th hour production, or I forget
I
the
think I've
name of the
heard.
company, but they do a couple haunts throughout the states.
Mhm.
And then the belle of the ball was the 13th Gate.
The 13th Gate. I've heard of that one. I have
It's
also really.
probably the most. I've been to a lot.
Mhm.
That one was easily the most detailed haunt I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I really like there's so many really good ones. Like it's so hard because like there's so many and like the 13th Gate I have heard of like people who have gone there and have heard like wonderful things about it. So that's definitely on my list. Haunted Hoochie I know is very unique.
Yeah,
A lot of ways.
they play with you there. And you got one in PA that's pretty unique too. Halls of Horror.
Halls of Horror. I have not heard of that one yet.
Look them up. They're only
Oh.
open 2 days a week during the season. The shirt Freddie's wearing behind me,
Mhm.
that's what they do to you. I wore that also. That's my Halls of Horror t-shirt.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you
Oh.
get but they do it in such a fun way that it's like, come on, bring it on.
Yeah. I worked a few extreme nights when I was working at Field Extremes, and I miss them. Penhurst didn't have an extreme night this year, which I was disappointed about, but I understand why. But I am really interested in like this extreme side of haunted houses because I think it's so interesting. It's so fun. They will push your boundaries with it.
When you have a chance, watch my review of. I was lucky enough to get to a Vegas haunt. It was Freakling Brothers.
I've been dying to go to that one too. I knew exactly what you were gonna say when you said Vegas. Isn't that one haunted as well?
No, I don't know because they were in an IKEA parking lot. Unless one of their trailers is haunted, maybe.
I heard, I don't know if it was them. I heard like some kind of paranormal show investigated them because they did like actual satanic symbols on the ground and were having paranormal activity.
Maybe
I don't know if
because
it was coincidence.
they have a witch one, a vampire one, which were normal haunts. A lot of different stuff that I haven't seen over here. But the Gates of Hell, that was a full contact, in your face haunt.
I want to go there. I want to do it. I'm just like definitely a chicken is the funny thing.
Yeah, I went alone too because I was there for work and they invited me out. So I was like, yeah, I'll check it out.
You went in
Man,
a
oh yeah.
no. How was that?
Intense. As soon as I got up there, they're like, you got to sign another waiver. I'm like, I just signed a waiver. She's like, no, this is for this attraction. I'm like, what? So I
They had
did.
a
And I,
specific waiver for it.
what's that?
They had a specific waiver for that specific attraction.
Yes. And they needed it. Um, I'm not going to say the detail was super high, but you knew what kind of scene you were in. And the actors, a guy peed on me with a dildo. Oh yeah, he threw me through a bathroom wall too.
Through a wall?
Yeah. Well,
Like,
when you're in the public bathrooms, those doors. So when you walk in, you see a guy in a urinal, and you're trying to push on the wall. You can't get
no.
out. So then he asks you what you're looking at, and then he turns around and pees all over you, and then pushes you through the unlocked wall. I got electrocuted.
Oh gosh, the electrocution.
Not even joking. You got to walk through these metal gates. And they have chains hanging. The chains are charged, so you have to walk in and out of these chains. And if you don't do it, they push you through it.
Oh man, no, because we did electrocution, I think at one of the extreme nights that I did, and you couldn't, no,
It
no,
wasn't bad. Once you finally felt it, it was just kind of, it's like static electricity is what it feels like. Like, ow, 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 ow. It
yeah,
was nothing,
yeah.
I forget what else happened. I'd have to rewatch that video. Oh, they had a stripper who electrocuted you. She had a fingernail that was metal, and she dragged it from my chest to right above the happy place, and it was
Oh
electric the
my
whole way
God.
down.
No, see, like I think those are so funny. It's just difficult because it's so intense.
Yeah.
Like I want to do it, but it's so intense. I'm such a chicken, but I definitely want to do that one eventually. I've heard so many things about that place specifically.
Yeah, it was a good. It was a good show. I mean, I'm more set design, so like 13th Gate is more my thing.
Hmm.
Markov's, Field, Penhurst, Reapers. I
Yeah.
like looking at the scenery. I haven't jumped in a haunt in like 3 years. Like you're just not going to scare me. So, but it doesn't matter because I want to see the beautiful rooms. That's what I
Yeah,
love.
yeah. And I think that's like honestly, I feel like okay, so I have a little thing about that. So I agree with you completely. I think with haunting, like you don't need to scare every single person that comes through. It just matters if they're having a good experience or not.
Yep.
And I think that is so important because there have been so many groups that I have like I, I'm a four, a 5'4" like blonde woman. Like I'm not gonna scare everyone. I know that. Like I reasonably know that within reason. However, I can make them laugh. I can like toy with them. I can make sure they have a good experience. And like there are people that'll come through haunted houses just to see the scenery and like have a good time. And I love that. I think that's so fun.
Yeah, it's funny because like I'll be like, hey,
I'll be admiring the makeup looks. I think the makeup looks are always so fun to
oh
like.
yeah.
I
The
love.
makeup art, and it's only happened the last couple years that the explosion happened. Is holy crap! Huge shout out to Taylor at Field of Screams because I follow her Instagram, and
She was my first makeup artist. She helped me get my first character. I remember her first day in 2017.
she's just getting better and better.
Yeah, she's
Um,
gotten spectacular.
yeah, just yeah, and the
Hmm.
the lead makeup designer there, she's fantastic too.
Hmm.
Like, I can't think of her name right now. Why am I having such a blank spot?
Kyle?
Yeah, Kylie.
Yeah, yeah.
It was right here. I see her face.
No, I
I
get
know
you.
her Instagram name. I'm like that. It's just the name wasn't clicking. Sorry, Kylie.
Yeah, no, 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 no. There's so many extremely talented makeup artists out there. I know at Penhurst, like they train them for so long, and it's so cool to see some of these looks. Like, I know one of my friends, Aspen, who's newer this year, they had this huge like, I think they had like a suit. Well, it wasn't a suit. It was like one of those skin-colored suits, and their sibling Liz painted the entire thing, so their body was like covered and it was so cool to see. It's just like spectacular like looks. I love them so much.
Yeah, it's just some of the work they do there is my hats go off to all of them.
It's so much work too, like the amount of precision and like training that goes into makeup artists. Like, oh my gosh, I
It's
like.
like I'm not going to say I'm a good photographer, but I'm
Mhm.
getting better, and that's something I think I can learn and actually
Yeah.
evolve into. Makeup,
Mhm.
it's never fucking happening. I can't draw. It's never, ever, ever am I going to be like, hey, I'm getting better. No, it's just not happening.
No, I
Photographer,
hear you.
website, graphic design. Yeah, I'm getting better. I'm learning. I'm like, will I be a master? Probably not, but I'll be good enough. Makeup design? No, it's just
Mhm.
not happening.
I do not blame you. I like have considered taking some courses at Penhurst to learn how to do makeup. I still might do that. I was a glamour makeup artist for a while outside of haunt acting in general.
Okay.
So I really enjoy makeup in general, but I like SFX. I'm not good at that because it's so complicated and you have to have such a creative mind to do that. Like, especially creating like original looks because
Hmm.
like you can do very standard ones, which makes sense, but like you never really see that at these like really good like haunted houses. Like you see like such interesting characters and beings and it just like it's so interesting to look at. I love them so much.
Yeah, I think it was Kylie, the interview, where she sent me a bunch of pictures and I was putting them on screen. I'm like, I gotta ask you, how the fuck did you do that?
Yeah, and it is like a huge question, like because it's literally an artistry. Like it's amazing to see these people do their art, like especially because they only have usually like 20
5 minutes,
to
5,
30
10,
minutes.
15 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. And they've got like how many people like in line? Like they have to do at least like 10 to like 15.
Depending on how many artists you have that night, really. Because, I mean, most haunts are anywhere from 100 to 200 actors. So,
Yeah, and Autumn, she runs the makeup department at Penhurst. She like is my age. She's my age. She's 22. Literally like spectacular at it, and like at like regulating this and making sure all of like the makeup looks are correct and beautiful, and it's just so cool to see. Like it's amazing. It's really amazing. Like they really have a system down for it. Like especially at Penhurst. It's fantastic, honestly.
yeah. It's, what a world we live in.
Hmm.
Well, my dear, I am out of questions. I am going to have you tell them your socials or anything you want them to follow or wherever. And make sure you check her out at Penhurst this season.
Gotcha. All right. Well, my socials is at Cecily Isabella on Instagram. That's Cecily, an extra Y. Isabella, Isabella. And then you can also find my haunting account, which is the Bloodied Banshee on that one, which is a newer account that I just set up to help my journey with all that. You can also find me on Facebook as Cecily Feliz. Feel free to send me a friend request. I love making friends, all that kind of stuff.
I got to find you on Facebook. That's what I got.
Yeah, please do. I post
Sometimes
all the time.
I gotta post more. I really don't in the off season. I try to, but it just shit happens.
I
But
like it as my diary.
what's that?
I like it as my little diary. It's my little photo diary.
Yeah, I should do it with the haunts, but we get there and it's just like, and I'm
Hmm.
like, fuck, I forgot because we've been working on the TikTok. I'm like, all right, Terry,
Yeah.
just film this way, and we'll make a TikTok. Well, end of the night, we're going over our review. I'm like, did you get any? She's like, I forgot. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, no, I recently just started my Instagram for my haunting stuff because I've never done that before. So I figured it would be a good place to like kind of put everything
It's a
because
good idea. I like when
everyone who isn't in the haunting community is kind of terrified of me now. So it kind of is a good place of the balance.
that's awesome. But hang out for a couple minutes. Thank you so much for coming on. It
Thank
was a
you.
blast. This has been Halloween Haunts 365, where every day is haunt season. We'll see you next Monday, hopefully with my co-pilot. Bye.
Night after night, will we survive? Night after night, are we dead in this cold? Oh, everything's new, everything breaks, everything will die here in this cold.
Halloween Haunts 365 Productions.